We're gonna start off the music before we get sued. Oh. Welcome to Over a Couple of Drinks. Hey! Long time no see. We're finally getting around to this fucking finale.
Like 2 weeks late.
2 weeks later. But hey, real quick, with us, as always, for the Game of Thrones, I don't know what's going to happen when we go on hiatus with this show, but the Mother of Dragons, Jiriley, is here.
Hi.
And
What's coming?
What's coming?
He always he always pays his debts. Billy's here, our Twitter king.
Yo.
And I am the king in the north of the podcast, Bill. So yeah, we've had a lot of stuff going on. Jess went on vacation. She came and visited. We were going to do Battle of the Bastards then, but then we started playing board games and video games, and it was a lot of fun. And then, you know,
we
4th
had
of July.
fun instead.
This is work.
Is totally fun.
This is terrible work. I mean, I'm going to have to go see Ghostbusters soon to review that.
Take a shot of whiskey with you.
I'll take all of the booze.
Or the whole flask.
But no, we're talking about the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, the Battle of the Bastards, or we've called it the Bastard Bowl 2016, and Winds of Winter. Spoiler free, these were 2 great hours of television.
Yes.
Like 2.5?
Something? I don't know. They're
2.5 hours?
I wish we had him on here, but John from J Cage, I can't say his last name because he doesn't want us to say his last name anymore. Him and I talked at great length on how good the Battle of the Bastards was. Mm-hmm. And if you go into all the behind-the-scenes stuff, it's mind-blowingly great.
And Daniel Craig, right?
Apparently? I didn't find him.
I tried to scour that episode. I've tried to find photos, but apparently he's in it.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious.
We'll get to that. Our format, we're going to mash the 2 episodes together because, honestly, not a lot happened in the Battle of the Bastards other than one big fucking thing happening. So, we're going to mash it together because only like 2 things happened other side of the Battle of the Bastards in the episode and do the finale. And we're starting from our regional sections. We're starting backwards as normal from our normally do. So, Jess, take us away. What happened in Marine?
Yeah, shit went down. It's going down for real. The Sons of Harpy were like, yeah, bitch, what? And Danny's like,
Team
me.
Mystic for life.
Danny's like, me, that's what's up. And then you saw that the Greyjoys came and like joined their forces with her. And you saw, I don't know if we talked about doing Dorne separately, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about Dorne doing separately. We got the semi-awkward how to fight your dragon scene as she just burned the masters.
Yeah.
In my mind, this was playing out like a Civilization playthrough. So I'm like, someone's not microing their dragons really well.
Right?
As the dragon is just sitting there spewing fire, I'm like, dude, you can hit a whole lot more than that. It was really cool to actually see a dragon fight, though. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I love Daenerys. I think she's an awesome character. I really enjoy seeing her story. But it's getting to the point now where, and I understand she wasn't in the books as often as some of the other characters were, but I was starting to get really bored of her story. I felt like it was a lot of nothing happening.
As story readers, we know your pain.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was really stagnant, and I liked at the end of this season, because I know they're waiting. They can't have Daenerys go over the sea in season 3, even though they probably could have sped her through to that point. So I'm glad to finally see we are making
headway,
forward progress. Like we are moving.
They renamed Slaver's Bay to the Bay of Dragons.
Yep.
Rightly so.
Before we get to the very touching scene in here, I want to talk a little bit more about the battle, because we had this great moment. As good as Battle of the Bastards were, I felt like it was pretty predictable. I know I've said that before, but it just my movie senses were tingling around stuff that was happening, like the whole let's meet with the top 3 masters and we're gonna kill one of you as a thing, and I'm like, no, they're gonna kill 2 of you, and the one that they betray is the one that's gonna live to tell the story, and they do it in a very cool way with Grey Worm being a badass, which I really, really wish they added the line, because the meme was so much better where he shows him cut both throats and goes, I tell joke.
Grey Worm has always been one of the more exciting characters to me. I've really enjoyed him as a character, even though he's a very, very, second-tier character.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to a lot of things, he's a fun character.
Then that episode, we jump away from them, and when we jump back, Tyrion's talking to somebody, but we don't know who they are just yet, other than he goes, last time I saw you, it was at Winterfell, and he's talking to the Greyjoys.
Yeah.
This is a great scene, but this is going to lead into a lot of my problems with this episode of people, again, the audiences, is that we did a huge time jump here.
Yeah.
Because they cleaned up the battle, and somehow the Greyjoys sailed from, this is Westeros, and this is Essos over here. Mm-hmm. The Iron Islands is over here. They had to sail all the way down, because, by the way, it's more like, yeah. They had to sail all the way. They sailed really fucking far in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but
Well,
I very much... All right.
No,
Go.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of points in here that people are complaining about, like, oh, they move so fast in 2 episodes. No, there's been a lot of time jumping, and things haven't been playing out as we've watched them. Which
Yeah.
I will get into as they come up in the episodes.
Right.
But a little
Is
feisty
this the episode where we had the delightful sexual tension between Yara and
take it away,
Danny?
take it away, Jess.
Because that made me so excited.
I'm gonna ship the hell out of that relationship. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Right? And like that was just the best part. I was just like, oh, Yara's like hitting on her hard, and she's like, I'm not gonna force you to marry me, and like she's being all sultry and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm down. Like, let's do this. Go.
But
So Theon clearly is not equipped for this, so someone's got to do the man's work.
I will say this: that there is a problem with Yara's character. Suddenly, that has been brought to my attention, is that she's falling under the problem of we're being told she's a badass, but we never
But you
see her do
haven't
anything.
seen her do anything.
Yeah, and that bugs me.
And
They
I
don't
think
really talk.
I think it's a huge problem when you have such a large cast of characters like that, is you can't spend that kind of time, especially with the characters that are newer.
Well,
I mean,
even her story, she hasn't been able to do anything other than the assault to get Theon back, which I honestly don't think I watched that episode because it's such a fever haze to me.
Yeah.
But, like, we're being told she's amazing and she's great and she's a good leader, and show me, please.
Well, and they really skimmed over the whole Queen's Moot like thing and the whole thing
'Cause
with
in the
like
book
the
is so much
entire.
better.
Yeah, like the great, but I mean, granted, they've got like most of book 4 to cover kind of that kind of thing. But like, I agree, they haven't really showed her doing anything, and I'm hoping that's
Gonna
going to
change.
be in the next season.
Well,
I hope.
I'm hoping that there's this great naval battle that comes up, and
Yeah.
you see her like just tear into people.
yeah.
And it's coming up. I still love her as a character. I just want to justify everyone's descriptions of her.
Right.
Yeah.
But man, love that sexual tension. I don't know why.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sexual tension was great, and like that was just a good scene, and like watching a good alliance, and it kind of, as it starts going towards like the overarching theme of like these females in power,
Yeah.
as if like Weiss and like Benoff is like, all right, yeah, we had a lot of rape scenes. Now we're gonna put the women in power, like they're gonna take the power back.
And it's not ham-fisted like we're describing it here. It's flowing very. No, it's like, okay, what I hate a lot about is like, this is the big topic button right now is that women need more power, and then they just kind of force it into stuff instead of having it naturally occur. Like a natural occurrence is Dany's gonna take the Iron Throne. This is 6 seasons in. We all accept it at this point,
Right.
and now they're like putting the pieces in place so it feels very natural, very good. We met Yara since like season 2 or 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Her coming in and like taking certain power, having Theon get her back. All these pieces are coming really good, other than another character we're going to talk about later that still feels very poorly written.
But
when we get to the north, we'll know.
But I've always felt Game of Thrones has always done female characters very, very well.
Yeah.
Even
one of the scenes, Cersei in like season 1, where she's threatening Littlefinger.
Yeah.
I love that scene where he's like, knowledge is power, and she's like, slit his throat. Stop.
Yeah. Fuck
No,
it.
power is power, and I have it.
Yeah, and why can't I remember her name now? Marjorie's grandmother. I know we'll talk about her eventually, but she's
Queen of Thorns. That's all we call her as.
She's my favorite, and I love her.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Game of Thrones. It does do that representation. Like I said, we just need to see more of it from certain characters.
And it's very, like, I like how they're taking this very fantasy setting of the women aren't supposed to be doing this stuff, but, like, being realistic, like, no, they might not be in power, but they're in power.
Well, and most of them are doing it not from a position of like, I am the king, look down on me. They're sneaking around. They're sneaky. They're doing these things behind people's backs. They're working into the system.
And then there's Lady Mormont.
Yeah. But they've taken 6 seasons, so it doesn't feel ham-fisted that people are saying the War of the Five Queens. You're like, no, this is the chessboard that has been set up, and I can't wait to see it play out.
Right.
And that's what I really like. The last scene in Marine, it's actually 2 scenes, but I will wash over one of it because I really don't care about her breaking up with Dahario.
Yeah.
But the scene with her and Tyrion has been a scene I needed for Dany in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Because this scene was honestly really well done, super well acted. Both of them should get an Emmy for the 5 minutes they were on screen because it was that good. You had this sense of Dany going, where she goes, what I don't like about me is that I just broke up with a man that everyone tells me I should be heartbroken about, and I don't feel anything. And her kind of realizing what parts of her that are her father's heartlessness, and what Tyrion brought up an episode or 2 ago, saying you're too much like your father, and I like that because she's starting to grasp what she doesn't like about her. And and Tyrion being scared because he's not sure if he's doing the right thing, and it's making him just better and better. And when she just presents him that the Queen's hand,
yeah,
beautiful.
So good. It was so good.
Well, and just as I know I'm new to the podcast, but just to say it, and I know you probably said this a billion times, watching Peter Dinklage act is just something of wonder, and I love watching him as this character. Easily, I mean, my favorite character in the series, hands down. But it's so
other than
cool.
Lady Mormont.
Well, yeah. And it's great to see that evolution of that character in this, like you said, this 5-minute scene that's just shit. Give them every award. Give them every award for it.
We missed one crucial thing at the beginning of the Battle of the Bastards, is when Marines being under attack. Fucking Tyrion is talking to Dany yeah, the city's under attack, but I was doing really good.
Yeah. The fact that character jumps from being so comedic to being so serious is the magic of it.
Yeah.
He was like a high schooler being caught with a bottle of beer.
Yeah.
But I mowed the lawn and cleaned up. I thought I could have one.
Right.
It was just so good.
I know this looks bad, but
yeah.
So that, and then the show ends with them finally shipping up and going.
Yeah.
So that's everything that happens in Marine. We're not going to Dorne because there's a spoiler in it that we have to go to King's Landing first. So we're going to River Round.
What?
Why is the Queen of Thorns there?
Oh, there's also that.
Yeah, so we're going to River
Round.
Round.
The whole thing in and the stuff with the things.
Oh yeah, the thing with the stuff. Yeah,
stuff
that too.
with the
yeah,
things.
the stuff with the things.
But guys,
River Run.
The objective. The River Run.
Objective.
The River Run. So Jamie left, and he was really disgusted.
They're having a party, and
there's disgusting people there.
The phrase.
Disgusting people.
And you're just you don't know if you feel comfortable with Jamie being there. You don't feel comfortable, is Jamie going to murder them all?
Jamie doesn't feel comfortable being there. Jamie sees this girl out of the corner of his eye that he's semi-sexualizing and looking at. Cut to.
Cutie patootie.
Cut to, yeah, checking her out, and then Jamie's gone. And, you know, it's fucking cat face me. No.
It's cat face meowmers. No.
Cat face meowers sitting there by himself, and then the pretty lass comes up with a big old pie, and he's eating it. And
okay.
Are we time outing?
Question: did you guys expect foul play right here?
To expect what happened to happen?
To expect what happened, because my thought process is, and I will do it as Jess explains it, is, oh shit, is Jamie gonna make a move with the cute girl to kill Lord Frey? And I'm that's what I was expecting. Except when she starts talking about the pie. So keep going.
And she starts talking about the pie, and he's like, "Where are my sons?"
The two sons who were in charge of the siege.
The two sons that are in charge. Yeah, the two sons that are in charge that just look like
Idiots.
fucking like two of the seven dwarves, like stretched out. And they're
She
right
goes-
here, my lord.
And at that point, I went, it's, and she takes the face off, and I go, it's Arya.
Let's go in town for real.
I was with my roommates, and the only way to understand that moment in our apartment was the three of us were standing on our couch going,
As soon as she said, they're right here, and it starts to zoom in, I go, that's Arya, because that is too mean for Jamie.
yeah.
That is too, who's
Yep.
the only,
You
who's
start
the
to think
only
maybe
badass?
Jamie's gonna like poison him,
Yeah.
and then like you think that he's like seduced this young lady to deliver this pie,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
like you're like,
then-
oh shit, no, that's not it.
And then
This
she
is-
Eric Cartmans him. She Eric Cartmans him and bakes him into a pie
And
feeds it to him.
And I'm just going, there's somebody, I'm like, in like the split second before she goes like this, I go, who is this mean, that has the skill, and is just this fucking bloodthirsty? And I go, it's Arya Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she murders the old bastard.
And she
love
says,
it.
"I want you to know the last thing that you saw is a Stark."
Stark smiling above
Smiling. Yes, and I was like, yes. Oh,
you. At that point, she has become Westeros's Batman.
God,
Yeah.
just
Check another
Batman.
one off the list. I mean, that, and
I had
that's-
to look up her list to see
Yeah.
who was next.
well, because technically, is the Hound off it?
The Hound is off it, but like the one.
It's
Like
debatable.
Cersei, I forgot that the red woman is
Yeah.
on the list.
Yep.
And
I'm just waiting for Davos.
Still
to skip
rowing.
the fucking Red Woman now.
but like, I was so happy about this because I was like, okay, and this is the other thing. This is a time jump because in
Yeah.
2 episodes she got her way to Bravos to the middle of Westeros, made a disguise, infiltrated, River Round, and
Yeah.
was there. So this is a big time jump that tells you that the last time we saw her isn't lining up with current events, that there was things that happened because it took her a while to get to Bravos.
Well,
Right.
we already know that Varys is a Time Lord. So.
Varys, that's the other thing that I was going to talk about when we get to Varys. Like, it's not, no, this isn't like terrible.
Yeah.
There's
I
time
just-
jumping all over the goddamn place.
It's just really hard, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, it was even hard for me to kind of comprehend the time jumps. Like, there's really no way to identify a time jump in
Yeah.
it. except-
other than when you go,
yeah, how the fuck did they make it from here to there like that?
yeah, I just,
Yeah.
but like
But-
if you've watched a Quentin Tarantino movie, you know where
yeah.
things aren't lining up because
Right.
this
Well-
might have been happened, like this scene might be back to back, but this scene happened like a month ago.
And with TV shows like this with such big characters and such different locations, it's hard to tell how all this lines up anyways, like chronologically.
And we really didn't need to see her fucking sailing across the ocean.
No one gives a shit about it.
Well,
Exactly.
they're setting up a standard so that we can start the next season with Dany coming ashore at Westeros. Like,
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just gonna bing bang boom popcorn it, okay?
Yeah.
Now here's the question. The last thing we see is Jaime going back to King's Landing to see the aftermath of King's Landing. My question is, did Arya hitch a ride with the Lannister army
Yeah.
to go take on the Queen bitch?
oh, maybe.
Because nothing would make me happier to see Arya slit Cersei's throat.
Yeah,
You
and
know
then
that- you
and
know
then
that's
get
not gonna
smashed
happen.
And
It's
then
not
get
gonna
smashed by the mountain.
No, because the mountains. Okay, this
The
is
mountain's
this,
playing
this
with
is
a sex slave right now, but we need to talk about what happened at King's Landing before we talk
this
about.
this is my dream though. The Hound is alive, right?
Yeah.
We get the buddy cop movie we've always dreamed of. Badass Arya and the Hound going and kicking people's asses and taking names.
Yes.
And
I would-
Gendry shows up with like a big fucking hammer because she's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm a king's bastard, and he had a hammer. This is my hammer. Let's go to town." And it's like the best beat 'em up movie you've ever seen.
I would be down for it.
I'd be down.
King's Landing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jess, do you want to keep recapping?
Do you? You guys don't want to recap things?
Okay, so
I mean, I can, but
I'm just jumping in. You guys keep recapping.
So before I watched this episode, I'm playing video games with Billy. John tweets at us on our Twitter, and I look at a clip of some like office guy just walking out of a window, and I go,
what is what's happening?
"What?"
Is else.
Bill, your mic is like freaking out.
Your mic is wub-wubbing.
Quit rubbing your face on your mic.
And like it shows this guy jumping out of just walking out of a window. I'm like, what? And Billy goes, don't watch it. And I go, And I had to say, when the scene happened, I cracked my shit up because it was hilarious. So,
Mr. Assassin's Creed missed his halo.
we're having
Someone put it on a cover of an Assassin's Creed game. I saw it on the subreddit. It was like Assassin's Creed Westeros, and it was just him fucking. Because the surreality of that moment, I mean, since we're talking about it now, like the surreality of that moment was like all three of us, me and my two roommates, were sitting in our apartment, and we watched it happen, and we were just like, wait, what? What? What just happened?
Okay, let's get there.
All right, let's backtrack. So,
we're having,
and I think we talked about this in our last episode, is like the theory about, or we talked about this in person when I was visiting, about the theory about Cersei turning into the Mad Queen.
Well, she fulfills it pretty fucking hard because we're having.
And she does fulfill it.
We're having the trial of, I don't even remember his name anymore. The Knight
Loras.
of Flowers. Yeah. He commits that he did all those things. They gouge a fucking star in his head. Marjorie's pissed. And then they go, where the fuck is Cersei? And they go to go get her. And fucking, what's his face? What's that one asshole Lannister? The brother Lannister.
All of them?
No, the one who betrayed them all and has a star carved in his head.
I can't remember his name.
Finally gets his comeuppance.
Cousin Lannister.
Goes into a labyrinth following a little kid. The little kid just stabs him, and they look over, and there's just fucking barrels and barrels and barrels of the green fire.
Wildfire Arrowware. And you're like, oh man, he's gonna blow it out. No, you made a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Marjorie's like, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. Let me out of here. We all need to leave. Cersei's not here. If she's not here, something bad's going to happen. And sure as shit, there goes one of the prettiest ladies on the TV show.
And
I'm gonna miss her.
In all honesty, one of my I liked Marjorie a lot. I think she was a good character.
I wanted to see where her conniving was going to play out in trying to play the High Sparrow and Tommen against like Cersei, and you know,
the whole sept goes up in a big green ball of fire, killing Marjorie, her brother, her dad, Kevin Lannister, the High Sparrow, and
a lot of Sparrow dudes.
All the Sparrow dudes, all blown up, and as that's happening,
and a fuck ton of civilians too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cersei's just watching and drinking wine, and it cuts to the Franken Mountain leaving Tommen's room because he was refused to go.
Yeah.
And Tommen just walks off screen.
You just see it. Well, the thing was like, when he was standing there and he takes his crown off, I'm like, oh no.
And he walks back on screen, walks out of the window.
Yeah.
No pause. Just keeps walking.
Yeah, that scene was brilliantly shot. I mean, Bill, and the way you mentioned it is like literally it pans. He leaves, and then how shocking
just the window. Window.
And how shocking that is when he literally crosses back into frame and just like getting on a train or like going out in the room.
Yeah.
Walk. I had to pause it because I was laughing too hard.
Yeah. Like I said, for us in our apartment, it was complete, because it happened so quickly. It was complete disbelief. I was like, I looked at my, I was like, did he just jump? He fucking jumped out the window! And like, it just became this like completely, because it's like three things really sequentially. The setup, everyone's the explosion.
Dead.
Yeah.
And then Tommen books it.
Yeah. And the best thing was, one of my roommates was like, God, isn't it going to suck if this episode's complete shit? And, like, that is the first 10 minutes of it.
Yeah,
and it was
that's how the episode starts, with everything happening in King's Landing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I wasn't surprised Tommen was going to die, because, I mean, we talked in one of our episodes, Jess, about moving up his doomsday clock, because he was like, he's making a lot of dumb moves. He's dead by the finale. Like, we knew this was going to happen. Did not expect him to just jump out the fucking window. And, as much as I liked the kid, Cersei's now fair game for Arya to slit her throat. Okay?
Yeah, because all her kids were going to die before her, according to prophecy, so...
Well, have you guys heard the theory of the prophecy? because, you know, Maggie the Frog's prophecy was like, you know, you know, you're gonna have 3 kids. None of them are gonna be by your husband. Gold are their thrones, and gold are their shrouds.
Yeah.
And then it says something about, and now I'm like super paraphrasing, but it says something about her and Jamie dying together. And there's a theory that since she's now the Mad Queen and has done exactly what he killed Ares to stop him from doing, that he's gonna kill her and then himself, because he's not gonna be able to live with himself.
I'm looking up the prophecy right now.
Is the fan theory. So, yeah, Tommen's gone. Cersei's crazy.
Cersei's legitimately crazy. Like,
she's, like, legitimately crazy.
She looked over Tommen's body and didn't give a shit. And I was like, oh, dear God.
Yeah. The thing, I guess, I mean, I don't like Cersei. I mean, I don't think anyone, like,
I don't think anybody likes her.
Morally likes her. She's a great character. She's written dynamically. She's a badass. But, like...
Wonderful actress.
Wonderful. She's amazing.
And I just can't wait for her to get stabbed in the fucking face. Like, every episode next 2 seasons, that's what I'm going to be waiting for.
You're just going to be waiting.
I always look at it like I looked at, like, Skylar in Breaking Bad, where it was, like, just a character doing shitty things, but you're just like, that is why, that's how they write that character. You are supposed to hate that
You are supposed to feel that way.
That is the bad guy.
So then they give, like, and this was what also another, like, one of my favorite snippets, is with the fucking... the priest lady, the nun lady.
Oh, yeah.
That was, like, reigning over Cersei when she was in the Sept. She has been given to Franken Mountain. And, like, you don't know what's going to happen there. But my favorite part is, like, Cersei leaving. And she starts saying shame. And I got goosebumps. Like, I'm like, no. Oh, God, this is brilliant. This writing is brilliant.
Well, it's like Cersei flipped the switch and went full, like, super villain.
Yeah.
Like, scary super villain.
And not giving a fuck about anyone's super villain and just destructive. Like, she literally blew up part of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Like...
And then you see that look on Jaime's face as she's, like, sitting down on the throne.
Next to Franken Mountain.
Next to Franken Mountain. And, like, she looks over at him, and that's when you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
what? Where's Tommen? Like, because, you know, Jaime got this huge... Jaime's got this huge thing, like, I want my kids to be okay.
And now they're all dead.
And I like the idea of Jaime just fucking killing her.
Well, and that's got to be a real good point of contention coming into the next season.
I want Jaime to take his pointy sword and shove it in her so hard.
Things he'll do for love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's crazy. She's off her rocker.
She's off her... again, I'm blanking on her name. I love her as an actress. She's
Lena Headey?
Yeah, Lena Headey.
Like, I love... Like, a lot of people think she's, like, underdone in Dread, but I love every moment of her in Dread because she does a lot more without saying words.
Right.
And character motivation, and just seeing her flex her acting skills as Cersei for the last 6 seasons...
Yeah,
I love her. It's been so good.
I love her, and especially like.
I mean, I'm always going to be very angry that she teased Lady Stoneheart, and they never brought Lady Stoneheart.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be forever angry at her for that one Instagram post.
Yeah,
but she's. I'm loving everything she's doing with the character,
Absolutely.
And she's fantastic.
I think it's easy to make a character and act a role that people love. To love a character, I think it is a lot harder to create a character that people love to hate. Because I love to hate her. I love it. Well, she's such a good actress, and she does such a good job with it, and I hate every inch of that character.
There's 3 people that come to mind that do that really well in Game of Thrones. It was the kid who played Joffrey.
Yep.
Her.
Who played Ramsay.
And we're going up to see Ramsay because he was fantastic.
We got one more step.
We got one more stop? Oh, we're going to Dorne.
We got to figure out... Now we can now that we've got the precursor to Dorne, you find Lady Thorne,
talking
to Queen of Thorns, talking to the fucking sand snakes, and Varys is just sitting there like, bitches, I'm making it happen.
Welcome to the club of we hate Cersei and don't have penises.
Yeah,
right. Like,
aww.
and she's like, my grandkids are dead.
Dead. My son is dead.
Dead.
I don't want justice. I want revenge.
Right.
She is a hard. I mean, if anyone's gonna stand up as a hardcore badass, it's her. Yeah.
And like she puts all the sand bitches in their place, and
She's like, nobody cares. What's your name? Nobody cares.
And
Shut up.
all I want before she dies is I want her and Lady Mormont in a room together.
Yeah.
Just for her to go, I like this little girl.
Yeah.
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 Because we'll get to Lady Mormont. She has a great scene. Yeah. So that takes place of everything that doesn't have no.
And then you've got the Time Lord, like Varys, who then pops over to them.
We have the most important, uplifting thing of the whole show, Sam.
Oh, Sam!
Comedic relief, Sam. Comedic relief, Sam.
Sam gets to go to the world's largest library, and it's like he was Belle.
Book nerds.
Yeah, he was. It was so cute.
Funny thing, though, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but you noticed in the library, the way they use the light is the same thing that's used in the opening to justify as the sun on the board.
Really?
Yeah, like all the chandeliers are those spherical whatever the fuck they are that's used as the sun. And I'm like, I wonder if somebody is playing out and recording everything that's happening, and that's what the Game of Thrones is, kind of thing. Like someone is writing this all down in the Maester's Sept.
Oh, that's cool.
That just popped in my head. Like the intro is them like moving the game board apart and like writing down the history.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice
Here,
little
I'm
fun
sending
theory.
you the quote of the quote of that prophecy, by the way.
Yeah, you got it? Oh.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
lost everybody's video.
where'd you go?
Apparently, we need Skype Premium to make a group video call.
No.
No.
One moment. We'll be right back.
I found your face. I
We're
found Billy's
missing-
face.
We're missing Jess's face.
We're missing my face.
Yeah, turn your camera off and turn it back on. See if it's off, actually.
It said it was off.
Wham bam, thank you,
I
ma'am.
don't know
We
why
are
my-
back.
I don't know
It's
why
all
my
dark now.
screen's... Yeah, why is our screen dark?
Do you want to take a break for a second?
Because it's
Let's take a quick
nighttime.
break. We'll be right back.
Use it.
We figured it out, kind of. We don't know what the hell happened. I gotta move.
Yay, Skype.
It happened like right over the 1 hour mark because
Yeah.
you and I were sitting there talking for a while.
Yeah.
So what
We're going to the north.
we're going to the north.
You.
So the what part do we want to do first? Do we want to do Bastard Bull? Do we want to do Brand? Do we want to?
I figured we'd do Bastard Bull and then
Right.
just naturally go with where the episode was going. Simply because the brand thing, though important, we here at Over a Couple of Drinks kind of knew what was going to happen. We don't give a shit.
Everyone knows what's going on.
Everyone who had their mind blown were just like, this is This is known. It is known, Khaleesi.
It is known.
It is known. Billy, we'll get to it because it is known.
Okay.
It didn't affect me. So, yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, they all come up to their lines, and they're getting ready to battle it out. And they said,
Well, we have to back up because we had the whole episode of, like, 90% of the episode of Bastard Bull was people using words that Tormund Giantsbane didn't know.
Poor Tormund. He tried.
He tried. He was
Tried.
great. We have this great scene of, like, Tormund and Davos kind of, like, bonding before the fight. We also have these things that happen that make me hate Sansa Stark to no goddamn end.
She's such a divisive character because I know a lot of people who love her and a lot of people who hate her.
I hate her because she's doing dumb things.
Yeah.
Like, she's doing stupid things like, we're having a war council meeting. And she's like, well, why didn't you talk to me? And he's like, okay, I'm talking to you now. What do you want to say? I don't know because I don't know anything about combat.
Well, then shut the fuck up and get out of the way.
I'm saying, I'm like right here.
but
going,
I'm not going to tell you the one thing that I do know.
We should wait for more men. And John's like, the snow's coming. We do not have time to find more men. If she'd be like, the Veil is coming. We have time to wait for the Veil to show up because they're coming to help us. We don't have time to go to another fucking house to look at somebody, which is what you're implying, you dumb bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, her character frustrates me because she makes these huge steps. It's poor it's poor writing when characters make big steps forward and then they take, like, 5 steps back because they realize they advanced too far forward too fast.
And that's the way that her character's written.
It's poorly written because she should be smarter than that.
She might be one of the worst written characters in the show.
Yeah, and that's my problem because we've seen Sansa be incredibly intelligent. And then she does something really dumb because they don't want to write it further. And I'm like, stop it.
Well, that's because her character in the books is insufferable. Like, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And, like, so the showrunners, so the showrunners have just taken it and ran with it. And I don't know if they have, like, a guideline or anything like that as to, like, what she can and can't do and how far she can and can't go, but it seems like they do. So, yeah, she's throwing a temper tantrum and about not being included, but then she's not being a team player.
Yeah, because she has the most valuable piece of information that ultimately, no matter what happens in this battle, because she didn't tell anybody who died who was expecting a major player to die here was on her hands because she didn't tell anybody the stuff that she knew. And like everybody, like, fucking, this is why we're better than After the Thrones, because After the Thrones for the Battle of the Bastards gave the MVP of the week to Sansa, and I was like, no, she is a fool, and I'm really upset at her. She has a lot of great moments, but she's not 1-1. She's not 1-1.
She's not 1-1. 1-1 was the MVP of the week. Like, what the fuck? So
we're getting to the battle.
Into the
battle.
Someone can't serpentine. Someone can't serpentine.
Zigzag Rickon.
Ramsay comes rolling up on a horse with like rope, and I'm like, is he carrying dogs, or is it Rickon? It's Rickon. And
we knew this bitch wasn't gonna be fucking alive anyways. Sansa knew this bitch wasn't gonna be really alive anyways.
And I wish there was this meme, because I really wanted there to be, because it was popped in my head. He pulls out a knife and he cuts Rickon free and goes, "Do you like to play a game, little boy?" Yeah. And I just
like to play a game.
All that popped in my head was Ernie Hudson from the original Ghostbusters, and goes, "Rickon, when Ramsay Bolton asks if you want to play a game, you say no."
Right. Which is basically what Sansa said.
Yeah. Am I the only one upset by the fact? I mean, I get a lot of people upset by the fact that he didn't zigzag.
So he runs straight forward. John goes running after him. Basically, long story short, right before he gets to John, an arrow goes through his chest because Rickon's favorite band is One Direction.
Is that shitty writing, though? That's my question. Is that shitty writing?
The actor himself said, "I knew I was supposed to zigzag, but it wasn't written that way."
Right. It's like. It's the same thing with Sansa. Where do we sacrifice common sense for drama?
Well, not to mention that at that distance, it would be nearly impossible for Ramsay to successfully shoot him that far at that timing with a bow and arrow.
And it wasn't even like he needed a zigzag. If he ran at a diagonal, he would have been fine. It's just like I get really upset with TV shows when I feel like they cop out. Because Rickon needs to die, right? Like, we have to kill Rickon.
Right.
And there would have been an easier way to have it with, as soon as he got to an X point, Ramsay just released his dogs. Yeah. The same effect would have happened with a much more gruesome death, with leading to essentially the same thing.
Right.
Right.
It's just upsetting that kind of shit. And I know it's a butt of a lot of jokes. It's just upsetting when common sense is sacrificed for drama.
Yeah. Agreed. Sansa.
Yeah. And Game of Thrones seems to be a show that uses a lot of common sense, for the most part, and to sacrifice that kind of structure, it just pisses me. It really pissed me off that part of the scene.
But it led to badassery.
Yes,
it did. And like then you've got fucking John. Well, I think this is the reason why it was written this way, is because you got John in the middle of the fucking field. Like, what are you gonna fucking do now, dumbass? Like,
I think you posted the meme of, "All right, let's do this, Leroy
Jenkins." Yeah, no, that was yeah.
John Leroy Jenkins Snow just running his ass out there.
This is where this
Harris
episode,
Jenkins.
this is where this episode kicks it up into overdrive on a cinematic side.
I mean, the Lord of the Rings type battle scale.
Because as soon as you see behind the scenes shit, almost no CG.
No CG.
The only CG was used was to make it look like there were more people there. But like all the stunts they did of like this huge wave of horses coming at Jon Snow, real. As soon as the battle takes place, there's a horse coming up on him. He dodges out of the way, knocks another guy off another horse, all real.
All
Badass.
in one fell swoop. Yeah, no, and like that was such a good scene. Such a good battle scene. Like I couldn't get. I mean, honestly, like these last 2 episodes made the season for me.
Yeah, they really did because we were talking pretty negatively about the season for most of the time, weren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, there were moments, but we were like unimpressed.
I mean, that's just not just a Game of Thrones thing. That's television. I mean, that is some of the greatest episodes of television I think I've watched in a long time.
Yeah.
Right. And that's.
Scope,
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying the scope of that battle, like I said, was Lord of the Rings-esque, where it was huge. It was no CG. It was badass. I think you could rewatch that scene 30 times and see something new placed in there every time.
I'm already sitting here thinking about rewatching those last 2
So
episodes.
am I.
Just for the funsies.
Yeah.
It was really well done, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and then you're sitting there and you're wondering, and the other thing that I love that came from the internet is the parallel of John in like the horde of people like trying to get on top, like trying to get up, and the parallel of that with Danny in the Misa scene, like, and the visual parallel.
Yeah, but like, oh my god, that scene, like, apparently that scene was really improvised all of a sudden, where like Kit, whatever they pronounce his last name, was like, I have a big problem of being like smothered, so they're like, fuck it, let's bury him under bodies. And like that scene was only 2 minutes long. It felt like an eternity to me because it was so painful to watch. Yeah. He gets buried under bodies and he's trying to get air, and apparently Daniel Craig is somewhere in there. I think he's the guy who they
It was giving me
stabbed.
anxiety just watching it.
Yeah, it was painful the whole time. Also, there's the whole scene of like they've been corralled in by shields and spears, and people are dying left and right, and Tormund is up against Stark, and you're like, who's gonna? Oh my god, this is gonna be really bad because a major player is gonna die here.
I really thought we were gonna lose Tormund. I really thought we were also gonna lose Davos.
Yes,
I thought both of those guys were definitely going down that episode.
But Davos lives to see another day, and Tormund does the most wild thing ever and eats Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, weird. Like, just straight up fucking weird.
Bites part of his throat out or something. I don't even know what, but he ripped flesh.
See, and that's the thing. Like,
wilding.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's insane. I didn't take it like I was like, okay, this makes sense. He's a fucking guy who grew up outside of the wall, fighting every day to survive. He's got a beard out to here. He's literally insane. He is literally insane. I was like, yeah. Thank you very much.
And he's got to survive so that we can ship him and Brian. So like, it's fine.
I mean, as much as I love Brian and Jamie, sorry, Jamie, you're out.
Yeah, Tormund wins.
Right, Jamie.
And then when it looks like it's lost, fucking Peter Smalldick Baelish shows up.
No fingers.
It saves the day. Ramsay retreats, but at this point, I'd like to point out that if Ramsay had double the men at this whole like crucial, like the wildlings are in trouble kind of scene, he didn't use his men properly because Jon Snow's army, like, at least went 3 for 1 on mostly everybody.
Yeah.
And it was those fucking Mormonts, I'll tell you that right now.
We only need 62.
Those 62 Mormonts just kicked so much ass and chewed so much bubble gum.
Yeah.
Did you ever see there was a comic online where it was Mormon, and she's like, we only need 62. And it was the guy from 300 just crying. I was like, yes.
That's it. That's it.
Ramsay retreats into Winterfell. I don't know if anybody else made this joke in my head too, but he's walking in, he's like, he doesn't have an army. We don't have an army. We have Winterfell. And the door shuts, and I go, yeah, but they have a 1-1. And it was like the Avengers moment of, we have a Hulk. 1-1 just breaks down the goddamn door.
Yes.
Rest
And
easy.
then he started falling, and you're like, no.
Rest easy, good giant. You did well.
They easily, and that's an easy. No, job dog.
Someone call 911.
Yeah, that was an easy thing that had to happen though, because if he would have survived, there would have been so many things. That he would have just ripped Ramsey in half, and we would have lost a lot of shit. Like, him dying was important.
And then Ramsey, being the master archer, fucking can't shoot Jon Snow to save his life because he decides to go, oh, we'll do one-on-one. And I'm like, oh man, because the whole thing starts with when they're doing like their pre-talks for the battle. Jon Snow has this ballsy ass moment where he goes, we don't need to have our armies fight. You could just fight me one-on-one. And Ramsey goes, I've heard you're the greatest swordsman who's ever lived. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so
Where to puss out.
Can you blame him though? Can you blame him?
No. And it's this great moment where just true Ramsey goes, I've decided to change my thought, and we're going to do one-on-one now. I have a bow and arrow, and you have about 50 yards to cover. Jon Snow, the badass, picks up a shield and blocks every fucking arrow, and he's like, I am going to kill you.
Yeah.
And apparently they filmed the scene of him punching Ramsey for 10 hours straight to get every possible angle.
Poor Ramsey. I mean, like,
Fuck
nah.
No, this is what I'm talking about. This dude was so good at being a villain. I love him. I tweeted at him saying, dude, I'm going to miss you on Game of Thrones because you were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yet again, a character I think you hate.
But you have to love
to hate. Yeah, you love to hate him. Because he just does all the most deplorable shit. Same thing with Joffrey. He was a character that was so bad and such a badass and just did so many fucking terrible things. But you love to watch that actor work.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to take the Sansa's crowning moment, Jess? At the very end of the episode?
She basically Littlefinger comes all up in her business.
Nope.
Not that one.
We're talking about Ramsey.
Oh
Ramsey.
God, that one, yes. And like Ramsey's all tied up and shit, and like you're like, what's gonna happen? And like Sansa just like kind of like walks up and she releases those motherfucking hounds.
Yeah.
And like he's like, my dogs never hurt me, and she's like, yeah, they're hungry, you fucking stupid dick. And bam, ripped to pieces, and she just like swaggers away.
Goodbye, Jaw.
Now, I want to bring this up to you because someone brought it up to me with the idea of, do you think, because Ramsey was saying some shit about, like, I'm a part of you now, leading these pregnant thing, but my thing here is, again, we had a lot of time jumping. It took, like, Tyrion, like, 3 episodes to get his ass up to the wall with Jon Snow in Season 1. She strolls up there in an episode. Another episode starts with them moving all across the north, asking houses from one end to another. Right. I'm saying a couple months has happened since here. And I'm not saying...
I don't think it's going to happen, but who knows? They could try and will it into being.
What I've always seen is she gets pregnant, and then Littlefinger takes it upon him to marry her in order to kind of hide the identity of the father of the child.
I also don't think it's going to happen because that's veering so far off the books. Because remember, in the books right now, Sansa's still walking down a fucking mountain. Ramsey married fake Arya, who was Jane Poole, and yeah. So as cool as this is in the books, which at the end of the day, as soon as the books come out, that is official canon. Fuck the show in my mind. I don't care, and I just think that's veering so far off that it's not going to happen.
The show and the books are 2 separate canons, since you have different characters, you have different events that are cut out. You know, there's 2 separate canons running.
When someone says A Song of Ice and Fire, I'm going to be thinking of the books, not the show.
Right. And you say Game of Thrones, you think of the book or the TV show. Yeah.
No, it's the first book of A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm fucking with you.
No, totally. And, it's 2 separate canons, and I like the fact that they're doing their own shit now. Well, I mean they have obviously guideline shit, but I would love to see. I would love to see Sansa. Oh, this sounds weird. I'd love to see her pregnant. I'd love to see the plot line of them play out pregnant, and Littlefinger, being the terrible dickhead that he is, picks up fathership because Ramsay can't.
We're gonna finish out this. We're gonna finish up the North before going to Bran and leaving it at the big twist, I guess, because it just feels more natural this way. Fucking Littlefinger's all up on Sansa's bee, and thank God Sansa puts him in his fucking friendship place and says, "No, you're not gonna have me, you dumb asshole."
Yeah, why would I do that?
Yeah, and he goes,
And you're like, bam!
but then she does something really pisses me off, because the next scene is like all the houses meeting up and like they're talking about what to do, and everyone's like, and fucking Lady Mormont is like, "You didn't answer the call. You didn't answer the call," and calling out all these houses, and you're like, hell yeah, Lady Mormont, you do that. And she goes like, "It doesn't matter if he's a bastard or not, he has Ned Stark's blood in him, and he's good enough for me, he's king of the North." And like, this is a great moment too, because like these houses that like said, "No, I'm not going to help you," is like, I'm sorry, John.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm sorry, you're something I don't know what they call him." And John just nonchalantly goes, there's nothing to be sorry for, my lord. Still being like, "I'm just a bastard, what the fuck's going on?"
Right,
And I'm
right.
like, I really like that for him, because he's not like, "Yeah, I'm king of the North." He's like, no.
He doesn't want this.
And then this is the thing that upsets me, is because as this is happening, Sansa looks over at Littlefinger, who's like, "See, I told you this was going to happen. You should be queen of the North." And I'm like, don't let the power of boners get the best of you, Sansa.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Again, people are forgetting that fucking Littlefinger betrayed Ned Stark, which basically led to Ned Stark dying.
Yeah.
Littlefinger shouldn't be on the good guy category. He should be dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate Littlefinger.
And who knows? Maybe Arya will be able to arrange this.
Arya might be like, "I'm not Sansa." Stab.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucked up to think about.
Yeah, that's real fucked up to think about. Want to go north?
So yeah,
To the north.
then we got some Bran.
Just a little bit of
Some
Bran.
whole Bran. Just
Some
a little bit of Bran. Benjen
scoops of
drops
Bran
him off
flakes.
and is like, "Deuces," and
Cool. Real cool scene about him looking like really bad. Like,
Yeah.
Cold Hand's looking like he's decaying too fast. And he's like, "The wall has magic runes in it, was it?"
yeah, not like, yeah, it's got like magic. Oh, God, what's that word? Like wards to it.
Tomes? Wards? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Harry Dresden wards.
Yeah, Harry Dresden wards.
And, like, so the walkers can't get close to it, which leads me to go, how is the Night King gonna get over the wall?
That's a good question.
Put him in a catapult and launch him.
I'm wondering if he... If
Why didn't they burn all the bodies at Bastard Bowl?
Good question.
Can you imagine White Walker Ramsey?
Can you imagine White Walker 1-1?
Ooh,
White Walker 1-1 in Hodor?
they already have
Double
some
team?
White Walker. Ooh,
Double team of death?
yeah, no.
So, okay, so he drops him off and says, "Peace out."
Says, "Peace out," and Bran's like, "I'm gonna touch this tree," and Frog Lady's like,
No,
what?
No, don't.
No,
That's what
don't.
That's
yeah.
what she's...
Yeah. She's like, no. She's like, "Are you sure you're ready?" And he's like, dude, I'm a three-eyed raven now.
Three-eyed
Like, I've got no
raven.
choice. That's who I am. And he goes into it, and we go to the fucking Tower of Joy. After they've been teasing it for the whole season. The whole season.
Yeah.
And you go out there, and like Bran walks up, and is next to like Lyanna, and you're watching Ned and Lyanna talk, and she doesn't actually say anything, like who his parents are or anything, but you're like, "Huh, what's going on here?" And then they fade pan from Jon, like the baby face, to like Jon Snow, and you're like,
Well, she says something like, "Robert can't know, he'll kill him.
"Yeah,
Please,
Robert
Ned,
can't know."
promise me." Which is the biggest thing that Ned always remembered is, "Promise me, Ned, promise me."
Yeah.
It
And-
always reminds me of Bill. You watch? I think you have too, Jess. You watch Community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that thing where Abed leans in and he whispers something into Troy's ear, and Troy's like, "Abed, what did I tell you? You just can't whisper things and pay into the next scene." Like
Yeah.
that fucking shit that pisses me off. They did it at the end of Walking Dead, the first season of Walking Dead, with the CDC, where he fucking whispers something into his ear,
Mm-hmm.
and they play this bullshit thing where they try and whisper something away so that they can put it on to the next season. Just
What's his name?
yeah, just fucking tell us.
Well,
just tell us.
Here's the thing.
His name's Jaehaerys. Like,
It's
Yeah.
a terrible name. It's Jon Snow. But like I knew like as soon as I saw this scene, Jess and I would have the same reaction. Oh, great. So we're finally fucking right. Who cares, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
We were like, I think we were the most underwhelmed people because we were like, it is known. R plus L equals
It is
J.
known.
And
Yeah.
like you go look online and everyone's like, finally after so many years. I'm like, it's known. Fucking.
Well,
Well,
like,
and-
no,
and-
like, I mean, it would have been a jaw-dropping moment if they were like,
It's not.
his father is like a Greyjoy, like, you know, some fucking weird ass bullshit like that. No, like
I mean-
everybody knew this was coming.
Or
To
it was
be-
like it's not John, it's so and so. It'd be like, what?
Well, yeah. To be on as
It's
the
to
non-
Davos.
It's Sir Davos.
Yeah. You can't even fucking read. To be the non-book reader from the group, to be honest, I really wasn't surprised either. I mean, you scour a couple of subreddits, you read a couple theories online, you're like, okay, this shit makes sense. Like, it just makes sense, and
Right.
it's a decent plot point. It's good. It's a good plot point, I think, in terms of creating conflict in characters, whatever, so on and so forth. But I wasn't surprised. I don't think my roommates were surprised. I think we are all just like, okay,
I
cool.
was surprised.
It was just there. We knew what was going to happen, and like I'm sounding really cool. I'm really happy it is. If it was something else, I think I'd been pissed. Like the whole
Yeah.
everything else. I was just like, yeah, no, I knew this. You know, it's just
Cool.
It's cool. All right, cool. All right.
No, not my real dad. Anyways,
But it's
but
like
seriously,
as
Ned Stark.
as a book reader, it's kind of like really set up in the first book that something's wrong, like because he keeps remembering, please Ned, please promise me that like shows
Yeah.
up like 30 times in the book anytime Ned talks, and you're just like, well, something's not right here, and the only thing that's not adding up is this whole Tower of Joy story, and you just kind of go, oh, and like it is very cleverly written, but like if you have the puzzle pieces in front of you, you're like, it's fucking Jon Snow.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it's-
doesn't.
It's not that big of a surprise.
Yeah.
His dad's Rhaegar. Surprise, surprise. She was the queen of air and beauty. Like,
Now, now here's the real fucked up thing. Though they're the same age, remember, Dany is technically Jon's aunt.
yes. And if you believe in the theory that
They gon'
Tyrion might actually be a Targaryen, he would be Dany's brother.
Yes,
I've never heard that
half
theory.
brother. It's the
That
idea
would
that
be-
Aegon raped, or not raped, willingly took Lady Lannister.
Raped.
Was it rape?
He actually said he wanted to evoke the right of first night
Oh.
that the old kings had, and he made a joke about it with Tywin, and Tywin was like, "Don't you fucking joke about that," and like there was a like he had made a joke about it and about wanting all these things that Tywin had when they were like best friends, and then they had a falling out, and then there was the rebellion and everything. So
Yeah, and then it just adds up to like
Possible.
is what Tyrion remembers of his childhood, saying like, you know, you're not my son. Like you might just play it up as, oh, he's a dwarf and like all that stuff. But there's little puzzle pieces like he has the most golden blonde hair out of anybody. Almost some might say white, like the Targaryens.
Targaryens.
Yeah. That
I
that he
mean,
could
if
go
that
talk to the
theory-
dragons without a problem. You know.
if that theory prove like that's one of those theories that like if that turned out to not be true,
I wouldn't be upset.
like I wouldn't be upset. It
I'd be
wasn't
sad.
as cut and dry as like R plus L equals J. Like
When
it's
someone told you
more-
the pieces to R plus L equals J, you were like, no, that makes fucking perfect sense.
yeah,
Yeah. It fit
So-
really well. Even for a non-book reader, for me reading it, it fit
Yeah.
really well.
It just fits so well. Like you're saying with the Tyrion thing, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be ecstatic. That would be the one that I was like, oh shit, yeah.
oh shit, it's going down for real.
This shit is bananas. Yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, I have to read that. Then I'll read up on that theory. That'd be an interesting thing to read.
It's one of the many theories. Also, like, what was it? Jorah the Explorer is going to be the one that kills the Night King. Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, because he fulfills the prophecy of, like, being born from salt or something like that.
yeah,
Reborn through salt, which is, like, the salt river that he passes when he gets grayskin, and that's him being
Yeah.
reborn. But I'm
That could work.
I'm too busy going like, what is the White Walker army gonna do against 3 fucking dragons? Melt.
Die. It's
Yeah.
gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's the
covered
season.
all of our bases.
That's the season.
That's the season.
Next season's only 7 episodes.
Yeah, they are short. Well, aren't they shortening the next 2 seasons down
Yeah.
to 7?
Yeah, there's only there's
75
no
hours.
more than 20 episodes left.
Yeah.
Is what they have said. And they're not starting it until later. So
Because they
we
wanna
won't
film
be
it
we
in
won't be
natural winter.
podcasting right. We won't be podcasting in April. We will be podcasting in fall.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And then I'm sad because I'm going to have to wait, but
But we're
Yeah.
gonna have to wait for the good stuff.
We
Now,
have to find a new show to fill the void.
before we go, someone on Reddit posted this really cool comment that I want to throw it out there. When they're done with Game of Thrones, what do you want to see them take on next?
there's a rumor that they're doing Name of the Wind.
Name of the Wind?
Name of the Wind.
What's that?
It's a book
Explain
by
it like I'm
Patrick.
5.
It's a book by Patrick Rothfuss, and his name it's based on a character named Quoth, and it's really cool. I just finished reading the 2 books that they have released for it. But he basically retells his entire life story, and he's like this epic hero who's hiding out in a little inn somewhere, and they tell his entire story. So there's his story from birth kind of thing, and then there's the story that's going on outside as to why he's in this situation where he's hiding out here and what he's hiding from.
I wouldn't mind seeing I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Game of Thrones movie, and you cover the Robert's Rebellion.
I think that'd be cool. I think if they did another season where it was the Robert's Rebellion, that'd
Yes.
be really cool to see.
Either that, or I don't know if you can slap that into a 2.5-hour movie, but fuck
Fuck
it,
it,
do a
let's try
3-hour movie. Just kind of do it. I don't know, Firefly Serenity-esque, where you have kind of this thing where we tell
Yeah.
one more story outside of that.
Because I think it would be really cool to see Robert's Rebellion play out in full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Reddit post brought up. I'd love for them to see all of Dune, which Dune is a balls crazy series.
Dune would be cool.
And it would
Dresden
also-
Files.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'd like to see them step away from fantasy because they did fantasy so well with Game of Thrones. I would like to see the fantastical science fiction of Dune. I would love to see a modern fantasy actually doing the Dresden Files properly, not the shit TV show we got, and taking maybe only 7 episodes a season to do one case, and then each
Just
season
do a fucking thing.
yeah, do it right. Honestly, I would prefer the Dark Tower to be done this way instead of a movie or a movie series.
Right. Which
Because-
are they leaning? They're leaning towards a movie
They're
series
doing
or
a movie
a mini
series,
series.
and I'm more worried about how that's going to play out more so than everyone complaining about Idris
Right.
Elba playing Roland. I'm I don't care about Idris Elba playing Roland. He's a fantastic actor, can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I love Idris Elba.
I'm more curious on how they're going to have Susanna, this character who is an African American, who doesn't she has split personalities, and one of the personalities doesn't trust white people, so she doesn't trust Roland. I don't know how that's going to play out with Roland being black as well.
Right.
Don't care, they'll figure it out. I'm more worried about that's 7 fucking books. One of them's 1,000 pages long. How are you going to cram that in any fucking movie? Give me two seasons,
Yeah. I trying to put long series into movies.
Well, again, this comes down to judging Game of Thrones versus, say, the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is a much better way to do books than movies.
Right. I agree.
I wish Harry Potter was a TV show.
Yeah. But the thing about Harry Potter, though, is Harry Potter's so much more simple.
It is.
I mean,
Right.
there's less characters, there's less things. Each book focuses on really one major plot line, where Game of Thrones
all
feels
over.
like...
But
It's all over
if
the
you
place.
did 6 episodes a season, so it was a half season, you could do each book proper.
yeah.
You're looking at 6 hours for a book. That's easy to do.
Dresden Files.
Dresden Files. Do it now.
Dresden Files.
still-
Or skip ahead to Gods of Olympus from the Percy Jackson series, the ones that are more geared towards adults.
Yeah.
I'd be
still
down
got
for
my-
that.
I've still got my fingers crossed for True Detective season 3.
Yeah.
I just finished season 2 yesterday.
I have to embark on that.
Colin Farrell's the only thing worth it in that season. Colin Farrell's. Vince Vaughn tries to act.
It sounds weird, but I would like to see a 2-season run of like the Jurassic Park books.
Yes.
That'd be cool to see. Like,
I'd do that.
Do that.
That's a pretty big budget, like a substantial budget, though.
Oh, you know what they should do? Fucking do the Ender Quartet, please.
Yes.
Do Ender's Game, and then just get a whole new
Yes.
cast to do Speaker for the Dead, because I would fucking
Yes.
pay so much money to see Speaker.
Do Shadow. Do the
Fuck
do the
Shadow.
damn thing.
Fuck Shadow.
I love the Shadow
I hate
series.
the Shadow series. It's terrible.
Well, you're the reason.
You know what? We're gonna do a series about yelling about how we dislike things and how one of us likes it and the other one dislikes it, and we'll start with the Shadow series.
Okay.
Okay,
That sounds
deal?
fun.
So I have to go back through the Shadow series. All right.
No, I'm
I
not.
can do
I'm
that.
not going through it because it was
I'll do
fucking
that
a
for you.
trudge.
Verse mode.
like
Verse
that.
mode.
There we go. We're calling it verse mode. Thank you, Billy.
Verse
That's dope.
mode.
I've done
Down.
something.
Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. I love that idea. All right.
You need to get a ref in there too.
All right, Billy. You want to be our ref?
Yeah, sounds
You're
good.
gonna have points. All right.
I'm gonna have you argue
Yeah.
about shit I know nothing about.
you're
It'll be
just-
awesome.
We can get you some bandanas so you can throw them across the screen.
Perfect. All right, bye, guys. Say goodnight. We're done.
Good night.
Hey,
Thanks for
Thank you.
watching. We'll see you next time when we head back to Restros.
Restrish. It was a very good time.
Westeros.
Restrish.